Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining us. I've got London Angel Winters and Justin Patrick Pierce, sacred intimacy coaches and authors. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, my pleasure. All right, your new book, Yoga of Intimacy, the book of awakened woman's guide to intimacy or everlasting love. Tell me about this.
Yes, so the book is The Awakened Woman's Guide to Everlasting Love. And this book we wrote together because we've engaged in a practice that we call the yoga of intimacy for the last decade. And what the yoga of intimacy is think of it this way. After work, you'd want to take care of your body, take care of health, you go to a yoga class. Well, this is the kind of work you would do to take care of your intimate life, take care of your relationship, and you can use yoga to do that.
All right, I practiced yoga for years and I understand that concept, but let me drill down into this. Who is the awakened woman?
The awakened woman is a woman who is understanding life on new terms. She's playing in a man's world. She's rising quickly in the ranks of position and power. And she's really embracing new freedoms to be in the traditionally masculine realm, masculine embodiments. Unfortunately, for men, they go to work in the masculine, they come home, go on a date, they bring all those same qualities, everything goes great in love. A woman goes to work, brings all of that leadership, will sort of follow me, my way or the highway, goes on a date, things go very poorly. So a lot of the women who are emerging into this new paradigm are feeling invisible to men. They are not feeling like they're ravished. They feel like they're the breadwinner. They just feel let down in love. This book is their solution. It's how to continue to flex their muscle in the workplace, but then have something more fulfilling happen in romance and at home.
Okay. In today's modern dating world, apps like Tinder, Bumble, they become the norm. How do you suggest single men and women navigate this landscape?
Today we live in a society where it's immediate gratification, or we can pick and choose the experience we want to have like that. What TV show we want to watch, we can binge watch it that night. If there's something on the computer that we want to engage in, we can find it. These apps are now making dating and choosing intimate partners just as accessible as that. And what we're seeing is people are just as quick to dismiss an individual as a swipe. And that's a kind of a new phenomenon. And what we're noticing, the biggest issue, is when it actually comes for the time for those dates or time for intimacy. People are so plugged into their apps and their phones, there's no presence to be found. And this is one of the number one arguments that we get, or complaints we get from couples or people in the dating world, where they just can't find anyone who can be really present with them. And with these apps, not only are options for other people constantly open, but we're always tied to work. So every new text message, our mind goes back to work. Every new email, we're constantly at work. We wake up and we're at work. So we're laying in bed with our intimate partner, but we're actually at work. So we embody those work qualities. It's an actual embodiment we take on. And this is an issue in relating, because if we're not conscious of the way we're relating to those around us, we're always in work mode or go mode, suddenly our intimate partner is going to feel like a roommate or a business partner, and we're going to be butting heads, and 3 months, 6 months, 3 years down the road, we're wondering, what happened to that person that I fell in love with? Where's that spark? And we're here to tell you the spark is not gone. It can be consciously recreated, and we do that through the yoga of intimacy.
Okay, drill down into that. What does the yoga of intimacy mean?
So there's an epidemic in our culture of people feeling unmet, men and women. And it comes from nobody really showing up to the moment fully. So like Justin just said, you're on your phone, whatever. The whole culture is about distracting yourself with stimulus everywhere, 9-second attention span, constantly reducing, right?
Right.
When you sit in front of a beloved or a dating partner and you bring 20% of your attention, you're going to have a 20% effect. It's going to be about 20% fulfilling. What the yoga of intimacy teaches us how to do is show up with all of ourselves in the same way that when you go to a yoga class, you know you're letting everything go. You're going to connect back to your breath. You're going to reconnect to your body. You're going to actually land in the present moment. This is everything we're suggesting you do with somebody that you want to have a deep, intimate connection with. And what's so beautiful is when we discipline ourselves to actually bring that kind of presence, we feel fulfilled again. We actually feel like something inside of us is fed in a way that our current culture is not allowing for any of that to happen anymore.
Before I move on to my next question, I'd like to understand an example of what you mean by being able to do that. What are some, just at least one example of how that works? What is the process?
In the book, we outlined 3 pillars, which are the fundamental building blocks of the yoga of intimacy. The first pillar is presence. Second pillar is polarity, and the third pillar is devotion. And in the book, we go into detail on how you actually embody through practices and show up to these moments in a real practical way. We even give examples from clients of how we do this. But your first step is, if you can't become present with a person in front of you, if you can't get out of work, if you can't take your mind from your phone and place it on the person in front of you, immediately you can't deepen an intimate connection with somebody. Your attention is fragmented. Your attention is not free. It's trapped inside you, or it's trapped in work. So severing yourself from that mode, like you would in a yoga class, you leave your phone outside. You don't bring it in with you. Some people might. But you take that time to be present with that individual. The second step is polarity. And this has to do with what we're embodying. So if I'm present with London here, and I'm structured, my spine is straight, my breath is deep, and I'm present with her, and if she does the same thing as me, if her spine's straight, her breath is deep, it's going to have a feeling like we're business partners, or we're both at work and we mutually respect one another, or like we'd be good for, taking on a project together. And that's great for a work environment. But when it's time to experience intimacy and love, where one person wants to penetrate or ravish the other, and the other would love to just surrender to someone else's lead, something has to change for that to occur. Both partners can't stay in that mode. So in the yoga, each partner learns what they would need to do to actually recreate that spark. So in a yogic perspective, I could hold structure, I can deepen my breath. And if London softens her spine and softens her breath, literally just receives my breath into herself. These are the subtle ways this starts. And once you learn step by step, this continues to deepen. And we teach weekend workshops where we'll actually guide you hands-on through this experience. So 1, you'll experience it immediately, and 2, you'll be able to bring it back into your life.
Got it. You're going to say something, London?
Yeah, I'll give you a concrete example. So, as a woman, you have a new love interest. You get all ready for the date and you put on your best radiance, and he picks you up, you get to the restaurant, and then he immediately looks down at his phone and starts texting work. And you're sitting there at the table and the wind is just like right out of your sails. And he literally cannot stop, I just want to take care of this. Oh, I just want to take care of this. Oh, I got a text from a friend, right? All of those moments, if we were really willing to feel ourselves fully, are like a huge insult to our heart. I mean, they literally hurt. Most women don't want to look crazy, so they're not willing to actually feel that. They just sit there and then they get on their phones, and now you have 2 people on their phones. They're not even in a long-term relationship yet. I mean, imagine where that goes 10 years later, right? But what we're really recommending is that you sit into that moment and you give love a chance. You show up fully. So even if he's not full, you are. You don't just cave in right with him and just get on your phone. You sit there and you wait for the kind of intimacy you want. You show him what that feels like, and you demand a man to show up to you fully. In other words, if you're going to take me on a date, I demand your full presence. Put your phone away. Can you afford to do it for 1 hour? Right?
Right.
So these are the mechanics of how we either create the intimacy of a lifetime or just more of that mediocre gutter of neutrality, crappy relating that has all of us either looking at porn, on the side, cheating on our partner, serial dating, where it's just maybe the next person will be exciting, maybe the next person, even just keeping ourselves busy by overstimulating or numbing out. There's literally this epidemic of people feeling so hungry for connection. They're looking for it everywhere, but right in front of them in that one moment. And because we're so entrained in this mentality, Justin and I, we have to work hard. We've been together for a decade. We've been doing this practice for a decade. It's deeply into our bodies. We still have to work hard not to get our phone out when we sit down at a restaurant. We still have to work hard not to talk about when is the roofer coming, right? But to actually keep things sexy and drop into our bodies and actually feel hungry for each other. But you can do this. It's not something that has to go away in the first 3 months. It can last for years and years and years if you're willing to do the practice. Just like you can't reach your head down to your knees in over a bend over in yoga. If you get really tight, suddenly you've got your hands on your knees, you're not able to go very far. Your intimacy is the same. If you get so tracked into that busy brain, that fear-based thinking, that forward, always thinking of what's going to happen next or what happened in the past, your intimacy will suffer just like your yoga practice would.
Got it. Now, is that the advice you offer strong men and women who feel the need to subdue their career or cut parts of themselves off to be in a successful, passionate relationship, or is there something more?
Great question. So glad you asked that. My story was that I was an Emmy award-winning producer. I had achieved financial freedom through passive income. I was a champion figure competitor. I mean, I was literally like the woman doing it all. And I was zero in love. And I thought that I was one or the other. Like, I either could be a powerful woman in the world, or I could be cherished by a man and sort of subdue myself and be sort of that feminine being that men wanted. What I ended up finding out, and why I wrote this book, is that it's not one or the other. Men don't have to emasculate themselves to be polite to women in these days. And women don't need to essentially subdue themselves to be attractive to a man. But you can't just take what works in the business realm into the date and think it's going to work there. It takes as much intention. You wouldn't go into a business meeting unprepared, right? You wouldn't just walk in and be like, oh, sorry, don't really know what I want to say. Let me figure it out. You wouldn't go on a date without actually putting yourself into a state that would allow that date to thrive. So we can have it all if we're willing to be intentional. If we just sort of let life do whatever it does to us, we're going to be in the gutter of neutrality. It's going to feel mediocre. We're not going to feel met. And we're probably going to have to turn to Chardonnay and chocolate to make ourselves feel better at the end of the day.
I get it. Well, another question. Why do so many women feel that men are failing them?
Such a great question. Women feel men are failing them because of this one reason. When you're in a sexual occasion, i.e. dating, attraction, or long-term relationship, the thing that causes you to feel that like heat for another is called polarity. It's sexual charge. It comes from opposites. We've heard this for eons, opposites attract. Well, it's actually true physiologically. So one person needs to be in sort of the masculine embodiments, the other person in the feminine. And that's what creates the need for each other. Sort of like, ooh, you're different than me, I want that. What the mistake a lot of these modern women are making, myself included before I knew this, is we go to work and we match men. We go into that masculine principle and we lead like the best of them. We are in charge. We're running the show. We're running ourselves. We're self-sufficient. We're trustable. All these beautiful masculine qualities. If we get home and on a date or with our man, we keep those qualities on, he's going to have to do one of two things. Either compete with us for that role, which is going to lead to a lot of fighting and butting of heads and just, you go in that room, I'm in this room, like, can't deal with you. Or he's going to submit. He's going to give us the lead and he's going to take on the more submissive embodiments, you know, the ones like, sure, honey, whatever you want. Okay, da 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 da. He loses his power in a way. Women don't realize they're essentially outdoing their men. Their men submit for harmony, and then the woman goes, where are you? You know, where's all your leadership? I don't feel led. I don't feel guided. I don't feel your strength. So we're in this together. It's a two-way street. We're both in this together. We're in brand new paradigm where the gender roles are dissolving, and what Justin and I are trying to do is help people navigate that territory where love doesn't get lost.
Yeah, I get that. I've been around a little while, and I can see how that plays on both ends. Now, how do men and women repel love when they wish they could attract it?
You know, the point London was just speaking to, we're actually seeing it statistically. So across the entire nation right now, we have more women going to university than men. Women are 56%, men are 44% across the entire nation. More women are graduating college. More women are going to become surgeons, physicians, lawyers, accountants. We're seeing this massive increase. And this means women are cultivating the intelligence level and the abilities to function in the world the way the traditional masculine used to. So the idea of the homemaker and the nurturer is slowly beginning to transition. And now we have women in the world who are smarter, better leaders, who are starting to make more money, particularly in certain cities. So we see this living here in LA. It's happening here, and it's a trend that's not going to stop anytime soon. Yep. So the way that we're seeing this repel love is women are taking the lead and men are letting them. So men like, well, you've got that handled. You don't need me. You're sufficient there. So the woman feels, well, where's your strength? I can't trust you for anything. And he's just like, well, you don't need me. You're good. So women are like, why would I need a man? I can make my own money. I can take care of myself. I might be smarter than him. I mean, statistically. So women are now wondering, where's love? Why can I track this thing? But it's all of those embodiments that they're doing that's actually repelling a man they may want to be attracted to that. So if they want a man who's present, a man who's a leader, a man who's confident, a man who's grounded in his masculinity, they can't be occupying that pole, because a man like that's going to look like that and go, well, I am that. I don't need more of that in my life. I already have those qualities. So there's a resonance problem there. So they're repelling those types of men, and they're attracting more flowy, creative, less structured type of men because it fits polarity-wise. Mm-hmm. So they might have all these sweet, loving guys in their life, but then they're like, you're not the strength, you're not the presence that I'm looking for. So we're inadvertently repelling love in that way. And men are suppressing their masculine. That's a huge thing that's going on now too. And that's going to attract more masculine women to them and more feminine creatures. So it's happening on both sides, as London said. Okay. And the yoga teaches you as a man or a woman, depending on what you want to attract, how you would need to then show up in intimate moments in your life, because you'd have to make adjustments. You couldn't just go in there the way you would at work or the way you would just lounging around at the house. There's a way to show up to create the love you want.
That makes sense. What can people expect as a result of implementing the practices that we've talked about here today inside a modern relationship?
What people can expect is to feel that thrill of hot passion come back and have it not have to leave the picture no matter how many years you've been together. Again, Justin and I have been together for a decade. We still tear each other's clothes off because we know what it takes to keep that kind of heat running through our dynamic. A lot of people think it's like, oh, Cupid pointed his arrow and then I felt attracted to that person. And then one day I woke up and I wasn't attracted. Relationship must be over. When you realize that that is not even remotely the case, that that kind of initial attraction can be maintained across time if you know how to not kill it. If you know to not kill it, how to not dampen it, how to not throw water on it, it will stay. And what's so fulfilling about that is we really are powerful, busy people these days. Nobody wants to be in the middle of all these apps, dating, looking for the next person, trying to navigate all of the personalities. What's really beautiful is to find a sacred relationship, find a partner that has your back, find somebody that sees your fullness better than you can, and then how to have that stay hotter than the average one-night stand. That's really what we're standing for, is that you can have that kind of passion running through that kind of commitment. And I think that's the thing that our culture is really confused about right now and has kind of given up on. And we're really standing here saying, don't give up on it. You can have it, and it will be the best thing that ever happened to you because it will make you the person you were designed to be in this lifetime.
Well said. All right, Londin, Justin, thanks for being a guest today on the show.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
All right, you've been watching CEO Money TV with Michael Yorba. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.